Hi, I'm Paul Gardner, a passionate conservationist. Welcome to Natural Born Runners, a series bringing together the global conservation community. We'll be immersing ourselves in the natural world, taking our epic journey on foot. Along the way, we'll meet a host of special guests and together explore the incredible species, spaces, and faces of the natural world. We'll learn about the pressures that they face and what we can do to help. My guest in this episode of Natural Born Runners is the great British explorer, the man who holds the Guinness World Record for being the first ever human to walk the length of the Amazon River, and the face of the Discovery Channel, Ed Stafford. Join us for episode 1, Cape Conservation.
Was there one moment that, because obviously you could have pursued business, you could have pursued other things, was there one moment that you can think of that kind of shocked you into choosing conservation, choosing to take this route?
We were never affected down in the Eastern Cape by a poaching incident. It was happening more on the borders between Mozambique and Kruger National Park. And so suddenly it arrived in the Eastern Cape. And of course it started getting closer and closer to home. And my brother-in-law phoned me. It was on Boxing Day, on your birthday. Right. It is your birthday.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And we had to rush out to the game reserve. And there was this beautiful female who had been blasted away, and her
rhino.
Yeah, rhino, sorry, yeah. And her horn hacked off. So we met the vet there, Dr. William Folds. So of course, Will has to do the horrific job of chopping up this beautiful specimen. And halfway through that, the guts burst open, and literally in front of us landed a baby rhino. So she was pregnant. And I tell you, she was probably 2-3 weeks away from giving birth, so it was fully formed.
She's an adult white rhino. Between the nuts, last night, stripped up on her, shot her through the spine, just nicked the top of the lung. It meant she was paralyzed, but slowly led to death internally before she was dead. Coaches had come and literally hacked this horn off while she's still alive. You can see how traumatic and brutal this crime scene is. And the reason why it looks like this is because she was still alive when they killed her.
Yeah, that wasn't pleasant, and that was a serious trigger. And it's good to see that, because it really thinks, geez, I really want to get behind this. And you know, and it's unfortunate that it takes those triggers to get people activated. But thanks to social media now, you know, you can push a lot of that content out. The tragedy with social media too, though, is we get so fatigued.
Well, I think that is the worry, isn't it? That we see so many bad things happening in the world that we, as a self-defense mechanism, we switch off to it. We bring down the sort of barriers and therefore don't engage with it emotionally. But I mean, when I was lucky enough to go out with you, obviously, on our run to dart Mandy the rhino.
Right, Ed?
Yes.
Here we are. That's I've got you up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go on a little jog.
Is it safe running here with rhino knocking about?
We have an APU, an anti-poaching unit, that patrol throughout the night. So they've kind of given us a bit of a green light to go down this particular track. But if that changes, we're going to be running very fast.
We are, aren't we? Every time I get to a country, I do always make a point of getting my running shoes on and going for a run in the morning. I just think it's a really nice way of sort of connecting to the country and acclimatising a bit, you know.
I'm so thrilled that you're here and you've given up your time to do this, because it
Absolute pleasure, Paul.
All about unearthing these great conservation stories. My passion is running and conservation, and I'm really thrilled that you've given up your time, so thank you.
Absolute pleasure. It's an honour to be here, mate.
You didn't realise you're going to be running there.
Not this fast.
I'll race you to the top. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
How are you, buddy?
Very well, and you?
Good to see you.
You too.
This is Ed.
Hello, mate. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Nice to meet you. Good, and you?
What are we about to do?
Well, we're going to mobilize a rhino. She was a very lucky survivor of a poaching incident. She was wounded, she was shot in the face, and the bullet migrated somewhere into the thorax or abdomen. We're not entirely sure where it is, but basically that, as it migrates, it can cause infection, and
It's
it can
still
really,
inside her, right?
yeah,
Okay.
it's still inside her. So at this stage, it's all right, but we just want to monitor her blood work, send that off, make sure there isn't infection going on, and then basically just give her full treatment of vitamins and minerals just to support her immune system, so that we can intervene early if it is starting to head into the wrong area. So.
Hey girls, come on.
How long will that take it to go down?
5.5 minutes.
Yeah. She's about 8 meters away from me through the bushes, but she's been heavily sedated.
You'll see we've trimmed the horn.
Yeah.
We're going to do another trimming now because there's such a big demand in the Far East for rhino horn.
So what would be the value of this horn?
Between 50 and 70,000 US dollars a kilogram. So it's astronomical.
Wow. And
More than cocaine, more than gold.
And obviously we took a little bit of the horn off to deter poachers and stuff, but being that close to an animal that big, and then having, I think it was you that was telling me the story about the hacking the poachers and the way they hack their horns off. I couldn't help but be affected by that. I was blown away by it, actually. The concept of somebody just taking an axe and hacking that off an animal was just...
While it's still
blew me
alive,
away.
eh? Because you know it takes a big bullet to pull down a rhino, and the thing will be collapsed. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, the thing's still alive, and they do this.
Yeah, I mean, how does one go about policing something like poaching? How do you even start to combat that?
So, I mean, there are 2 ways about tackling the whole issue. There's a few ways, but the 2 that I'm familiar with is, firstly, is demand reduction. So going over to Vietnam and China and educating.
Right.
But then foot soldiers on the ground, you know, anti-poaching units. They are the poor guys and girls that are facing the battle on the ground, and it is a war. I mean, it's deadly. You're losing a lot of poachers every day, but you're also losing the APU guys, the anti-poaching unit guys. Yeah. But they are good, and then of course they've got a canine unit, and those dogs are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you got
obviously.
to experience that.
I did. Pull your hand in.
Pull your hand into the sleeve.
is that, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
He's a tough little guy.
gets the heart beating, I have to say, yeah. It's just impressive that you've got that team that is here all the time, stopping
they're
poachers
just
coming
on
in.
it.
Yeah. Do you feel like the tide is turning? Do you think that more people are caring about wildlife, about protecting environments?
You know, Ed, I definitely do. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't escape it on social media today, on television, but you've got to understand the people that are doing it, forced into doing it.
Well, I was going to say that,
whole side, so-
physically, who are those people? They're
So
South
they-
Africans that are on that point of desperation, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they're offered, you know, $5,000, it's going to feed their family for a year, 2 years. So what we did was we set up a foundation called the CCFA. So it's the Community Conservation Fund for Africa.
Okay.
It's not just about the wildlife,
No.
it's about the community. It's
Yeah.
time that we start looking over the fence and seeing what the hell's happening there and then try and involve them in sustainable businesses. I am with Di Luden from the CCFA, which stands for the Community Conservation Fund for Africa. Probably more important to conservation, I mean, they go hand in hand, is community. And so we are here today, and Di's going to tell you all about that.
The idea is that we will plant 3 trees per home. So we will plant a hardwood, which is like this olive
Yeah.
tree here that you see. We will also plant a speckboom, which is a tree that provides a lot of oxygen. The 3rd tree will be a fruit tree, and that fruit will be a source of food for them. They will be able to sell the fruit on, exchange the fruit for other types of food, whatever they want to do with it. If we don't get involved with the communities, we won't see a difference in conservation. So Community Conservation Fund is all about working with the community members so that we can change the conservation crisis.
There needs to be this conscious shift in terms of the globe and what's happening, how we protect it and everything else. And so what is your take on all of that? How do we get that message out to the billions?
I think for me, this sort of shift in consciousness towards being more responsible is just like, it feels so much better to do the right thing.
Okay.
It feels so much better. And if we all were to live our lives based on, you know, not what we can get away with, not what other people are seeing us do, but what just inherently feels right, if you actually look at it, it's like, how on earth could we be behaving like we are? How could we be destroying the planet? How can we not have a conscience that's going,
Yeah,
hang
yeah,
on,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, how
if
do
you
you
treat
do
it
that?
like your garden, you know,
Yeah.
would you chop all the plants in your garden down, you know, and pollute it and stuff like that? You wouldn't at all,
No.
would you?
We've been lucky enough to work on the rhinos this week,
Yeah.
and we've seen elephants and all the big animals and all these iconic species. Natural for any human to like, push up the big animals, and they're the ones that get all the big coverage. But of course, you look at the smaller animals that are also getting abused. There's a bigger picture that we need to understand, and we need to start talking about those smaller things too.
Yeah, the oceans being the big one as well. Obviously, we went down to the reserve around Oceana and picked up rubbish on the beach.
So I thought today we could go and do a little beach cleanup.
Okay.
Got these
It does look quite clean though, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah, listen, this is remarkably clean compared to most parts of the world. And so I think we're very fortunate that we have this as a pristine setup. But what we do is we encourage our guests to spend time on the beach, and they all want to do a beach cleanup. So
Okay, cool.
we had these sleds designed for us.
nice.
We're going to do a little bit of cleanup, and then we might have a little challenge in store for you later.
Thought you might, Paul.
Okay, let's do it. So it has a typical sort of a crayfish trap. So
Right.
you can pop that on yours. These things get washed up all the time. You can't believe how many of these you find there. So let's keep going. Okay, Ed,
Yeah.
it's been a long day. We've been up since 5.
What is that?
I've got our friends to leave us a little surprise here
Okay.
because we've been extremely busy, and I know you've taken a lot of strain as a 44-year-old man. But what it is,
Says the 46-year-old man.
it's really old egg. You know, they do a 1,000-year-old egg in China.
Yeah.
This is an African version of that. So I want you to
Right.
try that, but it's going to give you a lot of energy.
So the insides of it is actually from an egg.
Yeah, it's real ostrich egg, but it's rotten as hell. Just don't smell it, just drink it. You know what it is?
I thought that was going to be properly minging.
Okay, now I told you that I've taken so much inspiration from the book Born to Run. And
Chia.
the Mexicans drink.
Cheer, yeah.
Yeah, it's a chia seed, it's lime, honey, and a bit of water. I think we've covered quite a few kilometers in the last few days in terms of running. What does running give you?
I think for me, we live in a nice part of Leicestershire in the middle of England where there's green fields, and I like all of us, I think, suffer from, you know, the stresses of work and worrying to pay the bills at the end of the month and going down to London and you know, being responsible for a family now. And for me, running is a reset. You know, I put on my running shoes, put on my shorts, go out over the fields, and it's just, I'm not thinking about anything really. My mind is clear. I don't know, releasing all of those sort of little tensions and knots, and it's just it is a reset for me. I find it incredibly good for my mental health, and therefore it was a really nice vehicle to use for us to explore around this part of South Africa.
You know, my two passions right now, and have been for so long, is running and conservation. So I'm using the running almost as the platform to get to places. I mean, I run wherever I go. I've got meetings in London. You'll see me running across bridges and everywhere.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Turn it all sweaty.
No, I try and do my running in winter.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's quite cool. So it is a real passion for me, running. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be a voice, why don't I use running bring people together, and you know, like us, who've been running everywhere.
But as much as I do love running, I really don't like swimming at all. And one of the more ridiculous things that you made me do this time was actually trying to run underwater, which was actually confronting one of my biggest fears, which is the water, which is the sea. Yeah.
So Beth is one of our champion freedivers. She's a real ambassador for the seas here. What is the typical lifespan of plastic in terms of degradation?
Plastic breaks down into microplastic, which is a major problem, and it's almost like a plastic soup floating around in the ocean. And that sticks around for, you know, hundreds of years. But what happens as well is once plastic's been floating around in the ocean for a while, it starts to grow algae. So it also smells like food to the animals. Okay. So it looks like food and it smells like food. And unfortunately then they do eat it, and a lot of them die as a result. And it's something that we can all actually play a role in making a difference and making a few small changes in our lives that will really, really greatly impact what happens to our oceans and the animals living within our oceans.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
What is your record time underwater as a freediver?
So I've got a 6-minute breath hold. How did you do with your breath hold?
I think I got to about a minute, and Ed got to, 49 seconds, so I thrashed him. Ed, we're going to have a bit of fun now. I know you've been doing a lot of land running and rhino and anti-poaching and all kinds of stuff, but as important as the land is the ocean is. So you're going to go on an extraordinary run right
Can't
over
wait.
here.
Nice one. Why did you do that? Why were we down there?
No, I think it ties in nicely with the platform, obviously. But we obviously met the lovely Beth.
Yes,
the free diver. She taught us about breathing, which we can relate to stress and running and everything else as well. It was to learn about what's going on under the waters, because the marine economy and the oceans are the biggest part of this planet. We are the blue planet, and if we don't get a grip of what's going on under the sea, and think we can just look after what's going on the land, we're stuffed anyway, because 80% of it's there and we're not taking care of it. And the sadness with the sea is you can't see what's going on underneath it.
Yeah, and again ties back with just making conscientious decisions, whether it is plastic bottles, then choosing not to purchase a plastic bottle because you know that it won't biodegrade and it will be ending up on a beach somewhere around the world. It's just literally living every day with that conscientious, is this the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do?
There we go. Yeah. It's a lovely way to round it off, actually. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. Good, clean honesty. Cheers, buddy.
Mate,
thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so
much.
much. Yeah. I'm
thank you.
I'm very chuffed for the last few days. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, it's been a privilege to be here. So
I've been on a high.
What a journey we've had. We've encountered the species, spaces and faces that together form the community of conservation in the Greater Eastern Cape. But our task isn't done yet. Everyone has a role to play. That's why we're challenging you to become a conservation champion. On our website, you can find the details of the small actions that you can take to support conservation, using the hashtag #NaturalBornRunners to get involved. Join us in episode 2 as we move to the next phase of our journey. Together, we can stride towards a protected planet.
We